What's up, guys? Derek, moreplates.moredates.com. Today we're going to be doing a video about natural versus enhanced while you're cutting, and how being on TRT is not the equivalent of being natural, even if your testosterone levels are in the therapeutic natural range. I've done videos on this before, but I felt like this was worth covering specifically because I saw a bodybuilder who posted his blood work while he was preparing for a competition, and it was super insightful because he's a natural. And just to show just the kind of impact a steep calorie deficit and restricting yourself for months on end will actually do to your testosterone level, and how this relates to TRT and what's really natural. So your natural testosterone level could be anywhere between, like 250 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, depending on the reference range. The reference range in this specific individual's blood work was 250 to 1,100. And he got it done at Quest Diagnostics, which is a really well-known and reputable testing facility. He kind of went out of his way to just show everyone what his blood work was so people could see exactly what it actually takes to get shredded for a competition as a natural, and the impact it has on your hormonal profile. So obviously, if you're hypogonadal or you just go on TRT for other reasons, you're using it to stay within, typically on the high end of the natural, reference range of 250 to 1,100. And most guys will say, yeah, it's the equivalent of being natural. I just have to use the TRT to achieve that because I can't produce it otherwise. And it's the exact same as being natural. And maybe while you're bulking, this might be the case in some cases, but when you're cutting, there's undoubtedly a massive performance enhancing advantage that is often not taken into account. Let's just say your TRT puts you at 900 nanograms per deciliter, and you have a natural who just so happens to be genetically gifted and is also at 900. Now let's take those same two individuals and put them in a steep calorie deficit with cardio, restricting essential macronutrients. Well, not essential technically, essential, the amount of food they need to sustain their body weight. You're basically putting them in a state of, energy restriction. Your body is not getting what it needs to sustain itself. They're both in calorie deficits for prolonged periods of time to achieve competition stage ready body fat percentage. What happens is his testosterone levels plummet, whereas the guy on TRT, his stay at 900 nanograms the entirety of his cut. So let's take this natural as a perfect example. This is Chris Elkins. You might have seen him on YouTube before. I'm pretty sure he has a pretty big following, so I'm sure some of you guys have seen him before. Basically, he posted his blood work, and you can see here 250 to 1,100 is the reference range. His total testosterone was 43. That's like the equivalent of a girl. Like, it's literally the equivalent of a girl. And his free testosterone is just as, below the range where it should be, which is actually arguably more so relative. And, obviously bioavailable, free usable testosterone is the number we actually care about anyway. So both of these are severely low. Like, he's literally walking around as a female essentially while trying to prepare for a male bodybuilding competition. Then let's take the guy on TRT who claims that what he's doing is the equivalent of being natural, and put him on the exact same diet, calorie restriction, intense level of cardio to get to that body fat percentage. His testosterone level by the end of it is still going to be 900 nanograms per deciliter versus this other guy's 43. So who do you think is going to sustain their lean tissue in the cut? Is it going to be the guy who's walking around with testosterone levels equivalent to a girl, or the guy who has the exact same level of hormone optimization throughout the entirety of his cut? So you can start to see very quickly how there's a big misconception between what is really natural and what's not. Because just because you're in the therapeutic range for a natural male, that's a healthy natural male, not somebody who's restricting themselves. If you restrict yourself with a bunch of macronutrients and do a bunch of hardcore cardio, that's not any natural male on this planet would be able to sustain. Like, there's no way you could maintain a 900 to 1,000 nanogram per deciliter test level as a natural in a steep deficit trying to get to like 5% body fat. It's just not possible. There's obviously a performance enhancing advantage to TRT, even though it's just natural. natural levels. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put this misconception to rest and kind of do one last video on it, because I've covered it kind of before, but this is just a perfect example to exhibit a real life example of somebody who got to, you know, stage ready, like 5% body fat, natural, totally natural, and what it did to his hormone profile. And you can clearly see exactly what happened. And TRT is not the equivalent of natural unless you're like in a calorie restricted state, and that's just a fact. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com. Subscribe there. Check me out on Instagram at moreplates_moredates, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Talk to you guys soon.